Written by Robert Bolt of A Man for All Seasons and Lawrence of Arabia fame, the mission was made by talented people with good intentions and considerable resources, but never quite works. It dramatizes an obscure incident in colonial Latin America in which Guarani natives are victimized by the political maneuvers of distant European powers. Bolt and director Roland Joffe clarify the situation well enough for us to understand its complexity, but they don't make us care. Jeremy Irons stars as Father Gabriel, a Jesuit monk who befriends the Guarani. Robert De Niro co-stars as Mendoza, a former slave trader who joins the Jesuits in penance for murdering his brother. Distant political and commercial considerations are represented by Cardinal Altamirano, Ray McNally, who has been tasked with resolving the claims of the Spanish and Portuguese for the territory occupied by the Guarani. We are obviously meant to sympathize with the Jesuits and the Guarani, but the film is otherwise emotionally flat. For example, Mendoza's penance includes hauling a load of armor up the slopes around the Iguatu Falls. It is a riveting sequence, but given De Niro's reputation for method-acting extremes, you can't help wondering if that's a real load he's dragging, throwing us out of the movie to think about the actor rather than experiencing the character's emotional agony. Like the rest of the movie, it works to recognize what we should be feeling, vivid but not particularly moving. The stagnant narrative does not help. Altamirano writes a letter to the Pope explaining the situation at the film's start, then dithers for 2 hours. Countless arguments, meetings, plots, and visits to the missions ensue, but the only suspense is what the Cardinal will decide about the mission's fate, which is pretty much a given. So the final battle between Spanish troops and the Guarani is a graphically violent anticlimax that takes too long to reach an obvious conclusion. The Guarani are, of course, noble savages, victimized by European rapacity, which is certainly preferable to rancid racism, but still patronizing. It is also self-deceiving because, in truth, the mission is more about the Europeans' emotional suffering than the Guarani's subjugation. No one has entrusted them with a multi-million-dollar budget and international distribution to tell their story. Instead, they are a colorful backdrop to two white guys finding redemption. Doubtless that self-pity is unintentional, but exposing the white man's sins rather than wrapping them in glory makes the whole thing feel rather pointless. Sentimental hindsight and abnegation do nothing to correct past offense or prevent further injustice. Worse, in the very last shot of the mission, easy to miss after the closing credits, Cardinal Altamirano looks meaningfully at the camera as if to imply that somehow, by watching the movie, we too are complicit in the outrage. Bolt, Joffe, and company can wear hair shirts if they like, but assuming we share their guilty embrace is insulting.